I'm Liz Bernier with HRPA, and I'm here at HR Today with Curt Steinhorst. Curt is presenting on thriving in the age of distraction. Thanks for joining us, Curt.
Thanks for having me.
So your session is about staying focused and staying productive when there are so many crazy technological interruptions. Can you talk to us a bit about that?
Yes, you nailed it. We are in this unique period in history where we have access to things that no one else has ever had to deal with before. And I think most of us know it. Like, I don't have to explain to anybody when I mention what I do for a living that people are distracted. We all know it. But the question is, what's really driving it at its core? And then what are strategies that we can effectively use to actually create productivity and focus given all the things that are coming at us?
So what is really at the core of the issue? What are the key factors?
Well, the obvious one is technology. And in one sense, that's absolutely true. Technology provides access to things that we were never meant to be able to resist. We are wired for the cave. Most of history, we've been limited by the locations we were in to be able to only communicate with people in a physical distance. But today, technology gives us unlimited access with no barriers to virtually anything that we could possibly want. That makes for a very, very difficult challenge for anyone in the workforce today. It's a challenge no one's ever had to deal with, particularly those that are knowledge workers, because we sit in front of a screen that gives us all the things that we could possibly want to entertain ourselves, and we're supposed to focus on a spreadsheet. Highly unrealistic. But here's the other side of it. Often we want to blame something external for that which is actually internal. When it comes to distraction, at its core, we are wired for it. We're wired to want to be distracted, and our ability to be able to overcome all that's distracting us is not going to just be solved by getting rid of technology. It has to be solved by understanding what's driving our brains, how we actually go about focusing.
So we know that knowledge workers especially have a hard time staying focused for long periods of time under the best of circumstances, but they have all these stimuli now. How do they thrive? How do they stay focused?
You know, I wish I could tell you that there was one simple solution and it was just really easy. If we just did this one thing, pull out the Wi-Fi, if that would only work. The truth is, it's a complex issue that requires an awareness on multiple levels. First, we have to understand what focus is. And what I mean there is that focus doesn't allow us to look at a lot of different things. We can't multitask well. But even more, the reason I talk about being focus-wise is because it's about us understanding that we have a choice. That in today's world, the easiest thing we can do is we can be reactive to everything and allow other people and devices to dictate where we put our attention. And we can blame them and we're the victim and it's someone else's fault. But at its core, we can be proactive. We can choose to say, at this moment, I'm going to redirect my focus back. And so it really comes down to one, knowing what focus is, and two, knowing how to exercise wisdom and choose to be proactive rather than reactive.
Okay, great. So as opposed to on an individual worker level like that, is there anything HR can do on a departmental level or management level to kind of help steer workers in the right direction?
Great question. There's a few things that I will recommend. The first is a recognition of how the environment we're in shapes our focus. If you want to reliably know how long it's going to take to go through a box of Girl Scout cookies, all you got to do is ask the question, where were they left out? If they're put on the kitchen counter, they're gone in a day. If they're in the back of the cupboard, they're going to probably last a little while. And the same goes for our environment. So when we're in HR, what we often see is there's this move towards wide open concepts of offices. There's some good reasons for that. It's removing hierarchy. It allows for collaboration. It allows for reducing the cost. But it doesn't do a great job when it comes to helping us focus. So making sure to provide some places where people can get away from the noise to focus on their important work is one really important strategy that in HR we can do. And then the next one I would say is recognize that you have to equip people differently than we ever have.
Okay.
Rather than coming in with a sword and saying, if you're on Facebook, then you are fired or whatever. Ironically, 1 to 3 p.m. on weekdays is the busiest time for Facebook, so maybe that is not a bad strategy, but rather than coming in that way, coming in and saying, we're going to choose to inform and train and equip and encourage our people, because making people feel guilty for doing that isn't the right thing. Instead, what is the right thing is helping them know why their work is so important, driving purpose into the organization, and then equipping them with the technological tools and the environmental tools to not have everything working against them all the time.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us, Curt. And I'm Liz Bernier, and this is HR Today.